Welcome. This is at least here in my studio here in Spokane, Washington. It's a beautiful May day, and looking forward to a weekend. So I hope you are too. We're trying a new platform for our live stream today, so hopefully we won't have any glitches like we did last week. So this is take two of the new Takumi Pro beautiful Takumi bamboo crochet hooks. So if you're familiar with the Takumi Pro knitting needles, this is something similar, but for the crocheters out there. So they're beautiful bamboo hooks, and I'm looking forward to showing them to you as I teach you a very, very simple crocheted edge treatment. Now, today's live will no doubt bring amusement to many of you because I am actually a beginner crocheter. So this is kind of fun. This is really fun for me. And this is kind of being brave in that, you know, I'm an expert in the sewing world and I'm a decent knitter and tatter and needle felter and all that good stuff. But crochet is new for me. So it's been a lot of fun. But please feel free to call out in the chat. Let me say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And let's get started. So pretty excited to be talking to you today. All right. So again, the stars of the show today are the beautiful new Takumi bamboo crochet hooks. So again, we've had bamboo in the knitting world for quite some time, and they have a lot of fans in that we have a lot of fans who really like that warm feel. They're very lightweight, and this is a really nice combination of smooth. So they're nice and smooth. And I find that I know with my knitting needles, the more I use them, it seems like the smoother and more satiny they become. But with the Takumi bamboo crochet hooks, one nice thing is that they really have a beautifully cut hook, and it's just a tiny bit more grippy. And I think that really helps with our crocheting ability to have that little bit of, it's a nice combination of slick and grippy. So, but again, that nice warm bamboo feel in your hands. It's super lightweight. So these are the stars of the show today, and these are brand new. Now they come in 6 sizes. My eye hook has gone on vacation, and I'm not sure where it's gone, but I will find it. It's just kind of funny that it was not in my case. So it'll show up here someday. But anyhow, I have 5 out of the 6 to show you, but they do come in a wide range of sizes. So we have sizes, start with size F up to size K. So as long as you're working within that F to K range, they're really great. I also want to point out before I get going here that we also have bamboo stitch correctors. There's a name. The name has suddenly gone out of my head, but these are actually for use in the knitting world. It's a bamboo hook with a point on one end and a hook on the other, and these are for repairing any kind of skip stitches you might have. Okay, so that is, maybe they're even called bamboo repair hooks. It just, the name went right out of my mind, but they're also bamboo, have a beautiful point. They come in 2 sizes, as you can see. And again, this is another type of bamboo hook we have, but this is more for the knitting world, for picking up those drop stitches. You have a nice pointy end and your hook all right there in a beautiful, wonderful, soft bamboo feel. Okay, so today's official subject is we're going to be learning how to do a very simple picot edge trim around crocheting. And you can see that I've been practicing this on one of my beginner washcloths. So again, this is a good chance for you to get a chuckle out of the expert today, because I'm doing something that is not something that I'm an expert at. In fact, I'm a beginner. And so this is a super easy, just having said that, you know that this is going to be a very easy finish that you can put on anything. I decided that my washcloths, my beginner washcloths, would be a great thing to decorate, because, you know, if I don't like the way it turns out, it's just a washcloth. So life is good, right? So pick something that's just simple to work with. I'm actually excited about learning this because I can add it to my knitted sweaters and things to give them a decorative edge. So even if you're not a crocheter, it's something that you can add to other things. And again, it's very easy to do, which is obvious because I am a beginner. So here, let's show you how to get started with this Picot edging. Now I'm just using a basic, this is good old cotton sugar and cream. Again, I have the super size for learning to crochet. I've been learning to crochet from my friend Brenda Anderson over at Creative Crochet Corner. So a little shout out to Brenda. And one of the things, of course, you learn to do as a beginner, this is triple crochet, and then you have your double, and you have your 1.5 and your single, but you make these dishcloths, and that's always a good thing. We can always use more dishcloths. So I'm going to start with another dishcloth. And if you are starting with a dishcloth like this, where you no longer have the tail, so when you're actually crocheting something, obviously, you get to the end and you're still connected to your ball or skein of yarn. Well, I thought I was finished with this before I learned how to do my edge finish I'm going to teach you. So I no longer have yarn hanging off the edge of it. So I'm just going to start without it. Now, there's multiple ways to do this, and I'm just going to show you what works best for me. And I'm just going to remember which hook it is I want to use. I believe it's this one. This is the H hook. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start right near the corner here. And I'm just going to grab, oops, I need to get my yarn situated in my hand a little bit. But anyway, I'm just going to grab and just pull a loop through here at the corner. At least that's the intention here, right? So I'm just going to pull a loop and make sure I have a big enough tail on it, on this loop, to pull my skein through. So I'm just basically creating a little slip knot here at the corner because I didn't have yarn to work with. So I'm just creating a little slip knot here at the corner to give myself a tail. Okay, and eventually I'll weave that back in. And actually I should have grabbed more than one piece of yarn, but that's okay because I can do that now. The main thing is I just wanted to get a tail going. Let me just move my yarn. So again, what we're learning to do is just a very simple, very, very simple picot edging using crochet. And because I'm a beginner, again, I expect you to have some amusement at my expense, and that's totally okay. So once I have I'm going to start with just a basic loop. So once I have my basic loop, and again, I just did a real simple slip knot here to give myself some yarn to start with. And you really can't tell that that's what I did. It's very, very inconspicuous, I'm happy to say. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just do 3 chains. So 1, 2, whoops, 3. So 3 chains. And then I'm going to go ahead and go through. So there's the chain I just came, so here's where I just came through. There's the next one. I'm going to go down through the one below that. And I'm going to go ahead and pull through, and I'm going to do a single crochet to hook that all together. And then I'm not going to go through the next, when I go down to my border here, I'm not going to go to my next one. I'm going to skip one. So I'm going to come here, making sure I go through both yarns here on the edge. All right, and then another single crochet to hook it all together. Now, if you're just joining us, let me show you real quick where we're going with this, what I'm going to be doing. So this is a very simple, what we call picot edge. So picot is a word we use more like in tatting. I'm a tatter, so that's when I hear the word picot, I think of tatting. But basically, it's a little loopy, there's a little airspace, a little loop here. It kind of forms a scallop. And because of the way we go back through the chain, it has like a little point on it also. Now, I will say that, before I get back going with the rest of the tutorial, I will say that I've experimented on this one with different sizes of needles, different spacing, playing around with different places to put the chain, because again, I'm just playing around with a beginner project and decorating a washcloth. So if I was doing this on a sweater, I would probably rip out anything that I decided I didn't like and start over again, because crochet goes pretty fast. It's no big deal to just rip it out. But I wanted to keep this sample just to show that there's different things you can do with it and different ways you can play with it, and decide what tension you want, what gauge, what size needle, all that good stuff. So this is what we're learning to do, is a simple edging. And I'm actually going to bring my camera in a little bit more, so it's a little easier for you to see, and I'm going to refocus. So whoops, give me just a moment here, and let's refocus. I just want to give you a little bit more, little easier view. There we go. Okay. Oops, because my camera clip's wobbling here. Easy there, girl. There we go. Okay, so let me just get a hold of my yarn again. All right, so I've got started. So there's my first loopy here. So as soon as you want to start this, you just want to go ahead and make a loop on the edge, and then we're going to just chain 3 times. So 1, 2, oops, come on. Don't have enough tension on my yarn hand. There we go. 3. So 1, 2, 3, 3 chains, very easy. Now you have a choice when you're playing around with this yourself. I could go into, you don't want to go back into, of course, the loop you just did. I could go into the chain just below it, but I've been going into this one. So kind of skipping down a couple, and then reach through, grab your yarn so that you can do a single crochet through those. Actually, I'm going to start that again, because again, I need to get a little bit better tension on my yarn hand here. Okay, there we go. That feels better. One of the challenges I have as a beginner is sometimes managing that second yarn. Even though I'm a knitter, it's just a little bit different, and I tend to get kind of tight on my loops, and so it's interesting to learn new fiber arts, because there's just different approaches. So I did my 3 chains. I went back through the chain and did a single crochet, hold it all together. So I'm not going to go through the next stitch on my edge. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm skipping one over. Now this is a personal choice. Again, it's something you're going to want to play with depending on your particular project, whether or not you want, how many stitches you want to go through, to decide how you want it to look. So that's a personal thing. So here I'm at the beginning again. So I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, whoops. See, I got my loop too tight. There we go. 2, 3. All right. I'm going to go back down through my chain. I'm going to do a single crochet through those loops. And this creates that little bump. This creates a little bump here, chaining that in, and that just gives a little bit of shape to that edge. See how we have these little tiny peaks here on each picot. So that's what going through back through the chain does. All right, so now I just need to hook it back into my project. I'm going to come over a couple stitches here and do another single crochet to hold that all together. There we go. So starting to look like loops here, starting to look like little picot edging. So again, if you're a beginner like me, hopefully you're glad this is going slow. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to go back through. Oops, let's see. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Now I've been noticing that sometimes I think I'm going through the wrong loop there, but again, this is why you practice on something like a dishcloth. So if it's not perfect, I don't think too many people are going to look at your dishcloths and tell you that, maybe your picots aren't perfectly even. So it's really a great practice. Yeah, there we're starting to make progress. Okay, so let's just keep doing that. I want to get to the corner here real quick. 2, 3. So 3 chains, back through the chain, grab a loop, single crochet. That makes my little peak, my little bump there at the top of my picot. Okay, go back to my edge of my project, grab a loop, and single crochet. Okay, making progress. Making progress. Alrighty, keep going. So we're at the beginning again. So you've got it. I'm sure you have it now. 1, 2, 3, and back through. Grab a loop. Single crochet. Back through the edging. Grab a loop. Single crochet. Oops, I got a little tight there. There we go. But as you can see, one of the things I'm really loving, even as a beginner, I'm really appreciating with these Takumi bamboo needles, these new Takumi needles, they really just have a great combination of, they feel great in my hands. They're very smooth, but they do a great job of grabbing the yarn too. So as a beginner, sometimes if the hook, this has a fairly sharp hook to it. I mean, not that's going to damage your yarn, but it really does a nice job of grabbing the yarns. That's something that I struggle with sometimes. If the hook is too rounded here at the point, sometimes it slips off for me. So I think there's a tiny bit more grip here inside the hook area than there is on your usual metal needles. And it really helps. I think I like them a lot. So I just need to grab more yarn here. Get my control over my hand there. There we go. Okay, so again, if you're just tuning in, 1, 2, 3 chains. Okay, so we have our 3 chains. We're going to reach back through the chain. And actually, the tutorial I saw or watched on this, the instructor actually went through the 2nd chain. I'm choosing to go through the 3rd chain, in a sense. So there's more than one way to do this. But I decided I liked the way it looked better going through the next one down. And so that's what I'm doing. So that's the beauty of it. You can play around with it. You can make big old loops if you had a longer chain. It's all up to you. It's your project. We're almost to the corner here, so I'm just going to be doing, and again, I'm a beginner crocheter, so if you're very experienced and you're watching this and I'm doing something wrong, just have a good chuckle at my expense. It's all good. Because I am not ashamed to admit that I am a beginner, and that just goes to show how easy this really is. Okay, so it looks like I have one more to the corner here. So I'll do that triple chain. And reach back through. Oops. I said it because I'm not really sure if I maybe did an extra step there. That's okay. It's just a washcloth. Okay, so, oops, looks like I accidentally unlooped something here. Oh, I bet, again, beginner, rookie mistake. I bet I didn't leave myself, I don't think I wove that yarn through properly. So I'm going to just go ahead and grab my crocheting while I'm attaching my edging. So hopefully it won't unravel. This is, I just happened to kind of finish right in the corner. This, because of the loop, the way this makes such a big kind of arching loop on this particular edge finish, it really reaches around corners very easily. I can't think of anything special that you need to do in order to make this work. Okay, so that's something that's really great about this, is that you can pretty much just crochet right around the corners without really thinking about anything, any kind of special treatment to them. Just figure out where it's going to reach. In this case, I'm right on the corner. Let's do our 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. All right, back through. Okay. Single crochet. And so right on the corner, I'm going to decide just to place it right here. And I'm just going to look great. Yep. So there on our corner, see, it just went right around the corner. I'm ready to start my next edge. No problem. We just keep working. So again, this is the Picot. This is a simple Picot edging for crochet. And of course, it's something that can easily be added to even a knitwear project. So that's what I'm kind of excited about, is it's going to give me some new things I can add to my sweaters when I'm, or scarves or hats or whatever when I'm knitting. But I do need to pick some crochet projects so that I get more practice in. So then I can say I'm an intermediate crocheter instead of a beginning crocheter. So, but there's our corner. You see how this just very easily stretches right around the corner. No problem. So just one more time walking you through, maybe not one more time, maybe a couple, but at any rate, so just again, just to repeat this process. So this is a simple Picot edge, and we start with just by creating 3 chains. So a triple, whoops. So I got my yarn out of shape here. Hang on, let me. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do our triple chain. When I'm knitting, I like all my yarn held pretty close together. So I'm just adapting to crochet. As I learn. Whoops, I need to grab both of those or it'll be sloppy. Okay, I'll talk you through that one again. Okay, so there's our little Picot edging we're doing. So we start again 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. And once we have our 3 chains, we're going to go back through the loop. Now, I'm choosing to go through here. I could go through the one above it. It's just a choice. But going back through is what creates this little peak, this little kind of pointy part of our Picot edge here. All right, so if I chose to go through a higher part of the chain, I don't think it wouldn't be as pronounced. But that's just, it's something I was playing around with. That's how I like it to look. So I reached back through my chain and pulled a loop. And I'm just going to single crochet those loops together. Come on, honey. There you go. I got a little tight. Single crochet that creates that little bump. Kind of knots it all together there, ties it together. And then I'm not going to go through the next stitch on the edging on this washcloth. I'm going to go to the one after that. So I skip one. It's like every other stitch along here. So every other stitch on my edge treatment here, that's where I'm going to anchor my picot trim. Okay, so I pulled a loop through there, so now just a single crochet to go ahead and hold it all together. So super easy. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to pop it up in the comments or in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer that. In fact, I'm going to double check that, make sure that I don't have anything waiting for me in chat. I don't see anything other than from my friends who are working with me at Clover. But the star of the show, so one of the things I wanted to share with you today is, besides how to do a super, super easy trim, crochet trim that even a beginner like me can do. So I guarantee all of you can do this because I can. So this is our brand new Takumi bamboo crochet hooks. So if you haven't had a chance to see these yet, they're pretty darn fantastic. And they come in sizes F through K. Now my I has snuck off somewhere, but here's our K. I'm working with H right now. There's J. But it does go down to a beautiful little size F. So if you're worried that you can only use really great big needles like the K, no, it'll go down to an F. So just to give you an idea, so there's 6 needle sizes. And they're just a really nice, if you like bamboo knitting needles like I do, I get to the point where sometimes my hands get kind of fatigued, and the feel of the bamboo, I don't know, it's soothing. It's kind of warm and soothing. And a lot of people there's just something about working with a natural material, working with a beautiful natural material. Now, Takumi bamboo needles are just beautiful because they only use the very best bamboo. So they use premium bamboo and they only use the best part of it. So you're never going to see any nodes. So bamboo is a grass, so it has nodes in it. You're never going to see those in your bamboo needles. So that's kind of interesting thing about bamboo. It's not a wood, it's a grass. So it's really important that the needles and hooks come from the best part of it. Otherwise, they're not so beautifully straight. And that's why the graining is so beautiful. I don't know if you even call it graining because it's actually, like I said, a grass, believe it or not. So anyhow, these are the real stars of the show. We do have our beautiful, these are also made of bamboo, and these are more for, the knitting world, and these are our repair hooks, our bamboo repair hooks, and they come in 2 sizes, as you can see. So these are new. These are brand new, but these have been around a little while, the repair hooks. And as you can see, there's a really nice point on one end and then the hook on the other to help repair your knitting stitches. And again, being bamboo, they have that really nice, it's a really nice combination of smooth with grippy. Like they just have a little tiny bit of grip to me compared to, say, our metal needles. So really enjoying that. All right, so just in case some of you have just logged in, I'm going to do one more repeat of the design. So this is, again, a little picot edge. I'm just doing this on one of my beginner practice washcloths because that's a great way to practice new techniques. Because, if you goof up your washcloth, you really don't care, right? It's okay. I don't think my sink is going to complain. So when we do this picot edging, the first thing you have to do is create a loop. Now, if you've just finished crocheting something, chances are you're still going to be connected to your washcloth. Now, I had to use a basic slip knot to connect a new yarn because I didn't have a tail hanging off. All right, so anyhow, but you do want to just start with a loop. I'm just going to get my yarn organized here. Okay, so you start with a loop, and then you're going to chain 3 times. Just chaining off 1, 2, 3. So 3 times, 3 chains. Now I'm going to reach back through my chain up to where my thumb is bobbing around here. And I'm going to pull a loop. And this is what's going to create the little bump. See how there's like a little knot? It's not a knot, it's a stitch, but there's a little stitch here that creates kind of a little peak on my picot edges. So picot is it's something that we talk about we in tatting a lot. When we're tatting, we make picots between stitches, and those are those little loops that stick up out of the tatting. So it's the same kind of look. It's just much larger. All right, so I reached back through my chain and did a single crochet to kind of tie it all together. All right, so I'm pretty much finished. Now I just have to connect it back into my edging. And so I'm not going to do the stitch right next to where I'm connected. I'm going to skip one and I'm going to go right here. So just pull loop, and again, so just a single crochet to hold it all together. All right, it's that easy. And when you get to the very end of your project, of course, you'll have a loop and you can just pull your yarn through, in a simple slip knot. Leave yourself a tail to weave your ends in, but just do a simple slip knot. Oops, that needs to be woven in to secure it. So very, very easy. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's something that it's just fun to do, fun to practice. If you have something that just looks a little plain, get out those crochet hooks, and go ahead and just whip yourself up a cute little edging. And you can add that to about anything. Anything you can hook that crochet hook through, you could go ahead and tat an edging onto. So there's a lot of them out there. I picked this one because I knew it was going to be very quick and easy to show you, and something even a beginner like me can show you on camera, however gracefully that it gets done. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope that you've enjoyed it and you'll go out and try it, and definitely give the new Clover bamboo crochet hooks a try. I think you'll really love these Takumi hooks. They feel great in your hands. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.